CHYE for this. Thanks, Yeshua. Thanks, CHYE, for this beautiful opportunity to be able to have this conversation. And like Shua just said, we're standing before Rosh Hashanah, and the way we see it is our financial allocation. We're at the end of the toothpaste. We're squeezing it out. And Rosh Hashanah, we get a full brand new allocation with Hashem's help, full of bounty, beautiful new year that's going to come in, loaded up with loads and loads of Siyata D'Shmaya, loaded up with great, great amounts that we can then put to play. So what a better time than Erev Rosh Hashanah to sit down and say, okay, let's prepare ourselves. Let's make the keli for the Gevaldig Hashpah that's coming right on the other side. We know that we're going to be Zechem Et Shem to a happier, healthier, and wealthier year. Okay, so the topic is strategies to increase business performance. Let's get right into it. So I'm going to use, as you've seen on the ad, basically a 7-step process to be able to walk it through so you can hold on to it in a certain way. But really, every step of the process has value, and whatever you take from it is what you need to take from it, and you'll be able to use that and build a bigger keli for even more hashpahs in the year to come. So since, like Yeshua said, at the end of the day, you are your business. There are loads of people that do everything that you do. And the reason why people do business with you is because of you. When people have a job, and I present to people that are, in positions where they work for somebody else, I tell them, you have your own business. You happen to have one customer who's your employer. Somebody else is in business, they have 10 customers. But at the end of the day, Hashem gave you a certain something special about you, something unique. You're unique, you bring something to the world, you bring value, you bring service, and it's you. When you become bigger, when you become a bigger keli, you can have more atzlacha. Of course, there are laws of the world. There's the Derech HaTev, we're going to talk about it. But I'm here to grow you, to get you out of your comfort zone, to get you to reach beyond where you're now. So next year, you can welcome in and take advantage of success on a new level. So here's a list of some of the companies that I was able to have the schus to work with and teach them these strategies. And it's my honor, my pleasure, and my privilege to be able to share with you today. Some of the stuff I wrote in my book, but I'm here to give it to you fully. So the concept is how to master the supercomputers between your ears. You were blessed by Hashem with the same machinery between your ears that the billionaire uses, that the Olympic athlete uses. Anybody that has achieved anything didn't have more time in their day or a bigger machine between their ears. We all have it. The difference is how they use their time and how they use the supercomputer between their ears. They just had 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, and that's all they had. And they had the tool that you have. However, they were able to master it in the way to be more often in what's called a flow state, a coherent state, peak state. They were able to make use of their mind, their brain, in the most efficient way. Because as you can see on the bottom right, when we're stressed, that's how our energy flows. When we're in normal state, that's how our energy flows. So if we can get control of ourselves, which is what we offer, what you bring to the world is not a mortgage. What you bring to the world is not a plumbing company or landscaping company or lumber company. What you bring to the world is you. And you bring the most you when you're in a flow state, when you're in a coherent state, when you're in a peak state. So let's talk. So I'm going to walk you a 7-step process of how to be able to change. We're now, like Yeshua said before, is Hashanah, a time when we're open to change, a time when it's mesugel for change. And we want to change in a way that we can be more in a position to be able to increase and do much better in our business. So the 7 steps in a nutshell are going to be, number 1, understanding the benefits of change. Why should I change? What's my benefits? If my mind doesn't understand the benefit, it will not let me change. It's the same reason why we don't change families, religions, communities, dress styles on a regular basis, because there is a status quo and our brain its job is to keep us there, that we don't just change. So our brain needs to understand the benefit of the change we're looking to do in order for it to allow us to even get to first base. Once I understand the benefits of my change and my mind's open to the possibility of change, I need to know what the problem is. Why am I not achieving what do I want to achieve so far? What's the challenge? So I need to have an awareness of the challenge that's being presented in order for me to be able to go out and affect change. So I understand the benefits of the change. So my mind's open to change. And now I have to have an awareness of the challenge that's presenting in order for me to be able to deal with it. Once I know that, and I want to go somewhere else, I know my blockages, now I want to go somewhere else, I have to clarify my desired outcome. If I don't have an address, any road will get me there because I don't have a location. If you have an address, a GPS could take you there. So I have to clarify my desired outcomes. If we set our GPS, recalculating, we get to our destination. Our brain is the ultimate GPS machine. We got to clarify our desired outcome. Once we know our challenge and we understand our desired outcome, now we need a solution. We need new skills. We need to play in a different way in order to create something new. Like Einstein said, right? However he said it, but the point of it is that doing the same thing and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. So we need a solution. We need some new skills. Now, I know my new skills. I got to get myself to do it. So how do I motivation for change? How do I motivate myself to change? That's number 5. Number 6, the process of change, how it works down, so I know what's going to happen and how it works. And number 7, reinforcement and accountability. Because if it's not measurable, then it's hard to continue doing the same thing. When you're climbing a mountain, as long as you realize when you're driving from New York to Montreal, you keep on seeing the mile markers move. If there's reinforcement and there's accountability, it will continue the process. Even if you did it right, if you don't continue, even if you got yourself to go to the gym, but if you don't do it every day, you're not going to get the benefit. Even if you brush your teeth, the day you come home from the dentist, because you had a lot of pain and you don't want to go back again, you got to sustain it. So with reinforcement accountability, seeing the benefit, recognizing the benefit, and holding yourself accountable is the way to keep it going. So those are the 7 steps. As an introduction, let's get to it. So the first thing is, what's my benefit of changing? So if you look at it, we have about 250 work days in a year, taking out, Yom Tovim, taking out Shabbos, about 250 work days. Now, assuming that you're not being so productive, it happens to some people. I'm sure nobody in this webinar, but some people are maybe not as productive as they could be. They get busy with things that are not really what they bring to the world. They do things that are lower than ultimately the beautiful value that they could bring. They're not their highest and best. They're not coherent. They're not in a peak state. They're not being their best. If you're doing that for 83 days a year, for 30 days a year, so just by stepping up the game and getting yourself to focus on the secret sauce of what you bring to the world, you can give yourself increase by a third, 33%, 50% raise. So you can basically crunch every 4 years into 2 years by just having more year, which is what I said when I have interviewed some mega wealthy people. They said I have the same 24 hours, 7 days a week. The difference is they use it. They understand their highest and best use. They understand their secret sauce, and they make use of it. They stay in a peak state. They bring their magic every single day. So why should I do it? I'm comfortable. I waste my time, whether scrolling, I waste my time doing cheap work that somebody else should do. I do research, I fool myself. I don't do my secret sauce. Why should I change? I'm comfortable. So what's the benefit? So for most people in business, it's I'm going to earn more money. But earning money is not really a motivator. It's what money is going to do. Earning money basically is saying that I'm going to have a bunch of green pieces of paper with pictures of dead presidents. That's not motivation. People don't get motivated by money. And if you hear any of the richest people in the world talking, not going to mention the names because they're not worthy on Erev Shana, but if you look and listen to them, they talk about a passion, they talk about a drive, they talk about a desire, they talk about making a difference. There's always a passion. So what is it going to do for you? So if you got a 50% raise, number one, what would that number be? See it, think it, put it into your mental GPS. Years ago, when I started this, I went to a seminar of one of the famous coaches, and he just told me, pick a number of what you want to make over the next year. And my number at that time was like $48,000. That's the biggest I was able to think. And he got me to push more than 5 times that amount. He got me to put in a number that was beyond anything I imagined. And he said, set the number, see the number, look at the number every time you take your wallet out of your pocket. And with Hashem's help, I was able to achieve that number in the next year, even though it was something way out of what I thought. But the trick was he was able to say, why do you want to make that number? What's it going to give you? Which is called a vision board. People hang up pictures by their desk. They remind themselves, they keep it in their wallet. What are you going to be able to do with the extra money? Who are you going to be able to help? What are you going to be able to experience? What's the change you're going to be able to make? Whose life are you going to make better? Who are you going to be able to help? What emotions are you going to get? What's the joy it's going to give you, the happiness it's going to give, the experiences it's going to give you, the freedom, emotional freedom it's going to give you? Write it down. Write down something. If you have more money next year, what are you going to be able to do? What are you going to be able to affect? Writing that down, things that drive you, tell your brain, oh, I want that. I want to have that in my life. I want to have that experience. I desire that. I'm going to be open to doing what it takes. The same way, if somebody is really driven to do something, we all know the stories of mothers who have picked up the car and so on. It's unbelievable what we can do when we're driven and we're motivated and we have a reason. So let's give ourselves a reason. Just saying I want to make more money is not enough. It needs to be an emotional reason, because I'm going to be able to experience what? What's at the end of the rainbow? Because anytime somebody says they want more money and you ask them, they don't want, like I said, pieces of paper with pictures of dead notables. They want to experience freedom, happiness, joy, connection, whatever you think it's going to do for you. Now, how are you going to get that? What's going to be the conduit? A new house, a nicer car, be able to donate to your favorite cause, to be able to buy a gift for a loved one, to be able to upgrade, to be able to take a trip somewhere. What is it? Write it down, make it real. So you have a number and you have what's going to make it real. Understand the benefits. If you know the benefits and you see it and you taste it and you feel it. Literally, if you would take an index card and write down the benefits, the number you want to make, and the benefits you're going to have if you make it, and you write it down, or on a note, whatever will be the equivalent for you, and you look at it a couple of times a day, you won't believe just that. The focus will get you so much quicker towards that destination. And it's very simple, because what winds up happening is if you focus on the GPS, many decisions you make in the day will be driven by that vision. You'll have a decision. Should I get up? Should I not? If you have that vision, you'll get up. Should I go here? Should I go there? If you have the vision, you'll go there. You'll make different decisions. You'll make choices in your day that will lead you to there. Things will be easier to do. You'll be pushed to do things because you have a clear focus of what you want to achieve. So, number one, understanding the benefits of change. Number two, awareness of the challenge. What is the challenge? The big challenge is our comfort zone. We are designed to not, if you look at the top picture, we stay in our circle. And there is something that keeps us in our circle, which is good. It's why we stay in the same family, in the same community, wearing the same type of clothes, living in the same house. It's because we don't get out of our comfort zone. And then it serves us, and it's a great thing. But what happens if you want to break out of your comfort zone? How do we go about? It's a challenge. There's resistance. And it's not serving us in our business. It serves us in other parts of our lives. So we stay status quo. And we don't rethink every one of our decisions in our lifestyle. But in business, you want to break through your comfort zone. You want to get out of it. And the bottom picture is what's called the wheel of life. These are the different components of your life. So you have career, family and friends, health, money, personal growth, physical environment. And if you were to color this in and give a rating in your life on a scale from 1 to 10, where they are. So you would go your physical environment, 5. My career, 10. I'm really doing well. Family and friends, I would say 8. My significant other, that part of my life, you would say whatever number you're going to pick, right? For this example, let's say 4. Fun and recreation, party, 10. Health, 7. Money, 3. Personal growth, 8, right? You do that. I'm going to explain to you what the challenge is. What holds us back? Why do we make decisions that work against ourselves? I know I want to have this. I know I want to roll. I know I want to change. I want to make more money. I want to grow my business. I want to serve more people. I want to make a difference. Why is it not working? Why is it working against me? So number 1 was the comfort zone. I stay in my comfort zone. I got to break out of my comfort zone. And initially going out of my comfort zone is fear. And if I can get beyond fear, then I can go into the learning zone. And beyond the learning zone is the growth zone. But each one is a struggle because there's something that really serves us in many areas of our life, but unfortunately holds us back when it comes to business. So it's learning, how do I break out? And we're going to talk about it. The first step that we talked about was have clear, set the GPS, understand the benefit. So your brain will allow you. And we're going to continue talking about how to do it. So the first one was get out of your comfort zone, stretch out of it so you can move into fear, learning, and then ultimately growth. And the second point that I made, the wheel of life, is that based on the way I described it, the different parts of my life have different numbers once I color it in. But then you have to recognize that this is the wheel on which your life is rolling. This is the wheel on which you're rolling, which means this is the wheel on which your business is rolling. And it's going to be a pretty bumpy ride of this is what it looks like. So if we take care of one part of our life, if I take care of my physical health and I neglect my family, I'm going to have a bumpy ride. If I take care of my relationships, but I neglect finance, it has to be balanced. You have to try to keep this wheel as close to balance as possible so it rolls well. Because if you neglect another part of your life, if you neglect your health for business, one day your health is going to scream and you're not going to be able to continue moving along. If you neglect family for business, one day you neglect your mental health for business, one day it's going to scream and you're not going to be able to continue. So it's important to recognize what the wheel of life looks. Try to keep a balance because there's something called, right, the snowball effect. If it's balanced well, your wheel, you can move slowly. It's called slowing down to speed up. Start building a healthy wheel and take care of everything in your life. And even though it seems like you're slowing down, why don't I rush? Let me build my business. It doesn't work like that. Because if you build a good circle, a healthy circle, then with the snowball effect, it seems like you're slowing down, but in essence, you're speeding up. You're building a beautiful wheel that's going to continue rolling and lead you to amazing and awesome places. So the problem is the lack of balance and the comfort zone, which gets in the way of our life. That's 2 of the most common things. And the third one is what holds us back emotionally, which for most people is something on the level of fear. What's going to build a bigger company? What am I going to do? People could steal my money. I'm going to have problems with family members. People are going to be jealous. Or as I'm building my business, I may have rejection, failure, stress. I'm going to have to be pushy. I may fail. I might feel bad. All these different types of fears that I'm afraid of that are going to hold me back. Because most business professionals are dependent on others to achieve what they desire. You can't make a product and sell it to yourself and make money. You're going to have to reach out to other people, deal with other people, whether it's business to business, whether it's business to consumer. It doesn't matter. You got to deal with other people. A rich friend of mine once told me, when people feel bad, they have to come on to other people, they have to ask a business. He said, learn one thing. Everybody's a schnar. Everybody. You have the lowest level where somebody has to ask for handouts to live. And then you have the wealthy guy who needs to beg brokers to bring him deals, beg investors to want to invest with him, beg banks to give him finance. He's also a schnurrer. Nobody gets out of it. We're all dependent on other people to succeed. Sam Walton, the person that owned Walmart, said, ultimately, the customer is the owner of Walmart. They decide whether they're going to spend $1 or elsewhere. Everybody understands that. So at the end of the day, we have to deal with other people. If we have to deal with other people, now all our traumas and wounds that we evolved and developed over the years can get triggered. So now I'm held back because I'm afraid. I'm going to feel bad. I'm not going to like, somebody may make me feel bad. Somebody may tell me something that's going to make me feel uncomfortable, and I hold back. So I stay stuck in my comfort zone because I don't want to experience the fear of whether it's a payroll, whether it's financing, whether it's inventory, whether it's having to reach out to other people, whatever it is, there's still a fear that holds us back. And we have to push beyond it, out of our comfort zone, to be able to get out and move our businesses to the next level. We're all on this call for one reason. We want to move our business to the next level. Got to break through our comfort zone. We got to bring back the fear that holds us back to be able to go. So that's the challenge we're all facing. So what do we do? Next step, clarify your desired outcome. What does it look like if I got beyond my fear? Your brain says, hey, fear on. Let me protect you. Let me protect your heart. Let me protect you from pain. Let me protect you from possible rejection. Let me protect you from possible discomfort. I want to protect you. But if we clarify our outcome, we can circumvent and get our brain to allow us to experience the fear. Because if my fear says jump over the fence to run away from the dog, if my fear says pick up the car to save a child, it's a whole different ballgame. I'll face it, jump in and do it. So what are 10 ways my life would be great if I overcame my fear? I would be able to have a massive business. I would be able to have loads of inventory. I'll be able to sign a bigger lease. I'll be able to have more people under me that work. I'll be able to sign bigger contracts. I'll be able to commit to bigger deals. So what would be better? Because one of the very, very smart trainers said the chokehold to go from good to great is fear. So see the vision, taste the vision. People have ran into fires to save a child. When people get a vision, they see the benefits. Then fear becomes the lower noise between my passion, my desire to make a difference, versus the fear becomes a lot quieter when I know how my life's going to be great if I'm overcome by fear. Fear is normal. Fear is correct. There is what to be afraid of. Courage doesn't mean there's no fear. Courage is when you hear your passion louder than you fear. Your passion, your drive, your desire, the reasons why your life's going to be great are louder and clearer than you fear, which is what I shared. If you have a goal card, you have an index card or a note that you have with you that reminds you of what you want to get, and you think it over every day. Lahavdil alpha avdalas, we have mitzvahs to medias, right? The concept is remember these mitzvahs every single day till it becomes part of you. There are many, many trainers who talk about the idea of telling yourself certain affirmations before you go to sleep, certain affirmations. Well, we understand the concept of Moedani. When we get up, we understand the concept of Krishna Shemitah. But I'm talking about now, as far as growing yourself, the new you that you want to be, have a vision before you go to sleep. Tell yourself messages you want to have before you go to sleep. Tell yourself before you wake up. These are concepts that we apply, and it's part of our lifestyle. But if we added something related to our business, so, and you look at it on a regular basis before you go to sleep, when you wake up, times during the day, it will set, it's the same concept. It will set our GPS. There are things we need to remind ourselves all the time. We can't forget it, because if we remember the Sheish Mitzvahs Medias, then our religious, spiritual GPS is in line. Same concept applies to the other part of Ruchnis of our life, our business. If we keep the GPS going. So what are 10 ways my life's going to be great if I overcome fear? See the vision, create it. That's going to start making the value. You desire what you want to achieve loud and passionate. And it's going to start playing louder than you fear. So let's talk about how do we break through Because in order for me to succeed, my mind and my heart need to work in sync. I have to have a vision of what I want to do, but my heart has to be on board. It has to help me do it in order for me to achieve it. Because if I want to do something and my heart is panicked and afraid, I'm not going to be able to do it. I got to get everybody on board. So the real question is, why doesn't my emotional brain follow orders like my regular brain? That means if I tell myself clap, there's nobody that comes and says, don't clap. I don't let. I can clap. Touch my nose, I can touch my nose. How come when I say be calm, be confident, be relaxed, be passionate, there's this heart that says, I'm scared. I'm not moving forward. Who is this other power? Who is another power that makes a decision and comes into my life and tells me, no, you can't do that? The struggle between what I want and then there's something that holds me back. So let's use an analogy to understand the concept, right? Is there anybody on this call that wouldn't feel comfortable to walk on this plank of wood? Everybody. Why not? Who hasn't walked on a plank of wood? When you walk in the street, you don't walk on anything bigger. No problem whatsoever. I put out a plank of wood. You practice, practice, practice. You're a professional wood plank walker, ready to roll. You do it. I ask you, you're confident, you could do this, no problem. Yeah, little kids could do this. And then I say, no problem. Practice, you're good to go. You're confident, you can do this. Okay, I'm just going to change one variable. I'm going to put it on the roof from one skyscraper to another skyscraper. Same wood. You just practiced. You were fine. You never fell off a piece of wood in your life. You keep on walking on nothing wider than a wood. I'll make it a wide wood. Why can't you do it? Logically, it's perfect. So you're going to maybe ask me a question and say, maybe there's wind and I'm going to fall off. No problem. I'm going to bring CBS 80's whole weather team. They're going to substantiate no wind today. What else you got? Maybe I'm not going to feel good. No problem. Bring the whole Columbia. They're going to substantiate you're totally healthy. What else you got? You can logically ask me every question and I can make it 100% logically. Okay, the doctor is here. The meteorologist is here. Everybody's here. It's perfect. Maybe the wood's going to fall. Bring the whole engineering team that built the Empire State Building to substantiate that the wood is solid. You're going to do it now? Logically, it makes totally sense. You should be able to walk across. No problem. You just practiced it. You're on top. Walk across. No issue whatsoever logically. So why can't you do it? Why are you not doing it? Because logic doesn't control when there's an emotion that works against it. So you walk out there and your heart says, ain't happening. And you say, why not? I asked all the questions. It's totally safe. I just did it on the bottom. What's the difference? Because what winds up happening is your emotions kick in. You look down and you say, hey, Halpern, what are those little dots down there? I say, oh, those are people. What are those little squares down there? Oh, those are cars and buses. In your mind's eye, you see a little red dot on the floor. That's you after you fell. And all logic goes out the window. Because emotionally, you don't see the vision. You don't see the passion. You don't see the game. You see yourself going down, blowing up in smoke. And then all logic goes out the window. You got to get your heart on board. You got to get your heart to be part of it. Because when your mind goes and your heart goes work together is when we wind up having success. When you have a vision of what you want to achieve and you're excited about it, you're passionate about it, because you want the outcome that's going to happen, you get your heart on board and your mind on board, then a mother could pick up a car if the kid's under. Then we could jump over a fence if our mind and our heart are on the same page. It's amazing to what we can achieve. And when I interviewed most of the people in our community that I got to interview who made loads of money, their mind and their hearts are together. They're passionate about their mission, the difference they're going to make. They talk about serving people, making a difference to people. Whatever you do for business, remember, you're serving somebody. That's your tafkid. If you're an Atzala guy, you serve by saving lives. If you're an insurance guy, you serve by helping people get insured. If you're a flooring guy, then you serve by giving people flooring and a good experience in a kitchen. Whatever you do is your tafkid. It doesn't make a difference what it is. Serve with passion. Make a difference for people in that experience. Be the best that you can be in that area. Deliver. Somebody's got to do everything. So somebody's a surgeon and somebody puts carpet. Somebody sells shoes and somebody sells insurance. Doesn't matter. Whatever you do, be passionate, make a difference. You're the Hatzalah guy of your industry. That's the service you bring to the world. Why? Because that's how Hashem designed you to wind up in that business. And when you do it with passion and excitement, and you're out there to serve every single day. Somebody shared me, a client of mine shared me a story that they have a big family of children, they have their own business, something went wrong, they needed to go out and get themselves a job. So they told me they went out to get a job, they went to an Adam Gadol, and they shared with them that the best job offer I have now is $70,000. I have to make at least $180,000 to live. And this Adam Gadol said, provide value, do a service, be the best that you could be, get passionate, get your mind and heart in the same place, make it happen. The guy told me within a year, he was at $180,000. Head on to pick him up, this, that, it happened. We know La'alecha Hamlacha Ligmar. We know that Ane Amelim U'Makablim Schar. We just got to do the program. Got to do it with passion. So what do we do? What do we do when we don't want to get out of our comfort zone, when we have fears? What we do is we avoid it. What we need to do is ride the wave. Ride the wave of discomfort and then get to the other side. Jumping into a cold swimming pool, the trick is just jump in. And then the cold goes away. How does that happen? Because every emotion passes. By the way, the pool doesn't get warmer. You don't get colder. What happens is your brain stops telling you it's cold. The fear, the discomfort dissipates. But if we don't jump in and we do avoidance behaviors, we watch motivational content, we organize our office, we overthink, we plan, check email, push off, procrastinate, schmooze around, get coffee. Don't serve. Don't do our highest and best use. We wind up avoiding biting the bullet, eating the frog. We wind up not doing what's comfortable. You can make any emotion go away by jumping into the pool. Jump into the pool, you get used to the pool. It works. So the skill and the tool, incrementally jump into the pool. Make a small thing, jump in. Something bigger, jump in. Something big, jump in. And before you know it, you wind up training yourself that it's going to go away. The discomfort always goes away. Nobody stayed stuck in fear. Nobody stayed stuck in worry. Nobody stayed stuck in pain. It doesn't work like that. It always passes. Don't get fooled by thinking that, if I'm going to do this and I get rejected, I'm going to be rejected forever. I'm never going to feel good again. If I make a mistake, I'm going to live with that mistake forever. No, you won't. Nobody stayed stuck in anything forever. You go in it, it's discomfort, it passes, everything passes. The only benefit is that on the other side of it, you now have the freedom to swim in the pool, do what you got to do. Everything you jump through, you broke out of your comfort zone. You made your comfort zone bigger. Now you're free to swim. And the good news is that a comfort zone is a circle. And you can't make one side of a circle bigger. If you stretch a circle, the whole circle becomes bigger. If you grow your business, you're going to find yourself to be a person that will be better at home, will be better in your spirituality, be better in everything. Because when your person grows, when you stretch out of your comfort zone, when you can tolerate more discomfort, when you can jump out of discomfort, jump into the pool and swim, everything, that skill will apply itself to every area of your life. And the wheel that we talked about, the whole wheel will stretch. And you're going to have the snowball effect. So why should I change? The answer is because no pain, no gain. So I need to remind myself, not of the pain of doing the work, which exists. There is discomfort and pain of building your business. Life is glued to pain. Everything we wish ourselves in the coming year, Banachai Mizaina, children, life, children, it's all pain. It's much more painful to have a company with 1,000 people than not. To own 10 buildings is much more painful than not having any buildings. To have a house is more painful than being homeless. Life is glued to pain, but we're focusing on the wrong pain. So choose your pain. You're going to have pain. Pain is the labor pains, the birth of the new you. Focus on that pain. Because pain is pain. You're either going to have the pain of being poor or the pain of rejection. Pick your pain. So what you need to do is anytime you focus on pain, you avoid. Focus on the right pain. Don't focus on the pain of the rejection. Focus on the pain of the loss of what's going to happen if you stay status quo. I'm not going to be able to do this for my family. I'm not going to be able to have this experience. I'm not going to be able to have this joy. I'm not going to be able to make this difference. I'm not going to have the quality of life that I want to have. Oh, focus on that pain. When you focus on the right pain, you will avoid. So when you focus on the right pain, you're going to avoid not building your business because you don't want to have that pain. So there's always going to be pain. Life is glued to pain. Pain is not optional. The question is, which pain is the one you focus on? Focus on the right pain, and you're going to avoid whatever that pain is. Focus on the pain of loss, of opportunity. Focus on the pain, 10 reasons why you'll experience pain if the status quo remains. I'm not going to have that experience. I'm not going to be able to provide this for my loved ones. I'm not going to be able to build this. I'm not going to be able to make this difference. I'm not going to be able to create this. I'm not going to have the joy that comes with this. I'm not going to get to live with the new me. Focus on that pain. When you focus on that pain, you get motivated to change because we all run away from pain. So if you focus on the right pain, you run away from that pain rather than focusing on the other pain. So what do you do to start doing this? Basically, you start small and it has a snowball effect. Mitzvah geres mitzvah. Make some commitment. We know all the Gedolim said before Rosh Hashanah, what do? I want to change everything. Make one Kabbalah. And that leads to amazing things. So think about it now. In your business, what's your Kabbalah? What do you want to start? What's a specific action you can do for the first week of the new year? Make a certain amount of calls a day. Commit a certain amount of time to do something. You're going to reach out to certain prospects, a certain amount of sales touches, a certain amount of time blocking. What are you going to do? Something, one action, commit. Do one thing. Stretch yourself in one way. Get out of your comfort zone in one way. Jump into the swimming pool. Do something, one action. But the trick is consistency. Because I'll say, how do we create change? Open me a door like a needle. I will open for you, Hashem says, I'll open you a massive opening. All you got to do is one small needle opening. However, one of my rebbeim used to say, but that needle hole has to be through and through. It has to be consistent. So it has to be teeny but consistent. Make one commitment, but that commitment, through and through. 2 calls a day, every single day. A certain process you can do to build your business, every single day. A certain time lock, every single day. Whatever you do, but through and through. Make a commitment now, and then keep on growing. And think about it this way. If you make one little shift towards the growth of your business, or any area of your life, every week for the next year, you have 40 work weeks. If you make one little shift every single week, the power of compounding, you will not recognize, you can't even imagine where your business is going to be. The changes. Forget about big change. They're not, if you don't do it consistently, and it's not sustainable, you're not going to get the benefit. It has to be Pesach Shalmach. It has to be through and through. Make a commitment for the next 40 weeks. I will make one little shift in the improvement of my business. And you can do this in your relationships. You can do this in your relationship with Hashem. You can do this with family members, loved ones. You can use this anywhere. But we're talking about business today. And if you do it in business, it's going to interpret to other areas of your life. Make a commitment that I will make one positive shift every single week for the next 40 weeks in my business. One little thing every week. Some of them will work better, some of them will work worse, some of them will have bigger impact, some of them less. But if you do it consistently, and I know that you'll have 40 shifts in your business over the next week, you can't even imagine where you're going to find yourself in a year, how much more success you're going to have. Why? Because this is how it works. Here's a visual. Okay, everything starts. Everything starts with a thought. My thought is next year, next level. Next year, I'm starting out every week. I'm doing something. When you have that thought creates an emotion. You're going to have a great feeling. You're going to be passionate. You're going to be excited, and you'll take a little action. If you take an action and you celebrate the action, you realize you got a result. Teeny shift. It reinforces your thought. Next time around, you already have the energy, the momentum. So you're going to take another little action. And then results reinforce your thought. Your emotion gets even more passionate. You become more confident. You know that you can do this. You do another action. You do this 40 times over the year, and success will be off the charts. So in conclusion, I'm going to share 2 quick points that I spent usually a couple of hours on, but just in closing. Number 1, focus on what you do want rather than focusing on what you don't want. So in other words, wake up every single morning having a vision of what you want to create. Focus on the pain you want to run away from, and that's what you're going to create, that pain. And that pain will make you run away from that and build what you want to do. And the second thing is focus on what you can control versus what you cannot control. Because what you can control changes your world. That's all you need to shift. Make a little shift, not on other people, make other shifts in yourself. So to recap, number one, understand the benefits of change. The benefit of change is going to be, I'm going to make more money. I'm going to be able to live these experiences I want to have. What's the challenge that gets in my way? My comfort zone and fear. Clarify desired outcome. Have clear vision of exactly what you want to create and make that loud. Review it, see it, remind yourself of it. Remember all the goodness, all the happiness, all the joy that's going to come, the quality of life you're going to have, the difference you're going to create in other people's lives. What's the solution? The new skill. Remember, every discomfort passes. Jump into it. It always passes. It always goes away. Do it slowly. Keep on making it. Keep momentum going. Celebrate your success. Keep on growing. Do teeny increments for the next 40 weeks. What's the motivation for change? See the pain. See the pain of not changing. See the pain of not having this in your life. The lack, if you're not going to have it in life, what's going to happen? Focus on the right pain, and you're going to be motivated, because naturally we're motivated to run away from discomfort. What's the process of change? Celebrating the success. The process of change is doing a small action, recognizing it, appreciating it, celebrating it, realizing what's going on. So the process of change is small things consistently, doing Pesach Shalmacha, but doing consistently, little thing on a regular basis. Big things don't last. If you want to lose weight, lose 1 pound every 2 weeks for the next year, and you will have lost 25 pounds by the end of the year. You're going to keep off. 30 pounds in 30 days means 60 pounds in the following 30 days. It's tough. Process of change needs to be small, because we talked about your brain as a mechanism. If you make a big change, your brain kicks off. You lost 30 pounds in the last 30 days. I want to protect myself. I'm going to gain 60 to make sure you don't do the stupid thing again. Don't mess up the status quo. But if you do small things, you don't set off the alarm and you stay under the radar. So that's the process of change. Reinforcement, accountability. Make sure if you do better, recognize it. I don't care if it's 1% better. You know why? Because 1% better, and you have the success cycle, you reinforce it. So now you just go to 2, because you have the energy of the success. 2 becomes 4, 8 becomes 16, 16 becomes 32, 32 becomes 64. A couple times around, you're over 100%. It goes so quickly. You got 40 beautiful work weeks ahead. Med Hashem, we're going to have a happy, healthy, and wealthy year. I should say we already have. We're going to have a happier, healthier, and wealthier year. And all we're going to do is make a shift. Every week, move a step up. And if we keep on doing it, we can't control the wind, but we can control the sails. So what could you control? Your attitude, your effort, your behavior, your action. That's it. That's what you can control. Focus on that. Focus on what you could do. Focus on only 2 things you can control, right? The Sefer HaTanya, HaMachshava Dibra Maisa. That's it. That's how we change the world. That's how we bring dreams and aspirations and visions into reality. It's just by controlling what we control. Our Machshava, our Maisa, our Dibra, what we do, right? Action is either talk or action, but the concept is focus on what you could do. Your thoughts, your actions, everything we discussed today, and you'll be able to do it. Finally, best way to finish off the year. Of course, we want so much next year. The best way to ring it in, the best way to get somebody that is good to us and gives us good things to give us more, is to have an attitude of gratitude. So rather than, we're talking about what we want next year, what we want to create next year, what we want to experience, what we want to manifest, what we want to have in our lives. Of course, we got to set the GPS and do it, but at the same time, we got to sit down and realize we had a happy year. We had a healthy year. We had a wealthy year. Recognize it, celebrate it, appreciate it. And then we can ask for an even happier next year, and even healthier next year, even wealthier next year. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for the opportunity. And let's open it up for questions.
Yes. So first of all, before we jump to the questions, first of all, thank you very much. Tremendous, it's no question. A lot of times I did a podcast once with somebody, and someone said a lot of people think people struggle in business because of external challenges. Most people struggle in business is their internal challenges, and the ability to face them and to get over them is a tremendous vehicle to business growth and to personal growth. And you articulated it so beautifully. I want to thank you very much for this. For everyone that's listening, thank you for joining. We're going to do Q&A in a second. And Benjamin, if anyone, if you want to give your contact info, if anyone wants to reach out to you, God willing, the webinar, we have our small business webinar once a month. So Mirza Shem, right after Tishrei, after the Yom Tovim, we'll be having our next one mid-November. It's going to be on harnessing Chat GPT for your business. incredible new AI tools out there, and it's all sorts of things that you could maybe incorporate in your personal communication and whatever else it is. So that's going to be coming up, God willing, in a month from now. So stay tuned. If you're not already signed up to our email, please sign up on our website to our emails to get notifications about these things. So thank you very much, everybody. Benjamin, go ahead. Any Q&A right now. Feel free to ask.
Okay, so I sent my email. If anybody has any questions on it and they either don't have the courage to ask it now, they want to ask it, I'm happy. It's not just, I wanted to make a difference for anybody. So these are topics that I don't just pick for this. It's something that I work in real companies, some of the biggest companies in our community, that I get to go in and work these things with it. So I have hands-on experience. I'm happy to help you to apply it. I put my email in the chat, so if anybody wants to email me, I'll do my best to be able to answer you. I can put my phone number if you send me. The easiest way is a WhatsApp, so that I could do it when I'm rolling. I'll put my number in also. Okay, and I'm ready to answer if anybody has a question. Somebody has the courage to come forth and ask a question, I'm happy to answer. Okay,
yeah, you can either unmute yourself or type in the chat, whatever you'd like.
Hey everyone, this is Kami. I have a quick question.
Welcome,
Go for it.
Thanks for taking the courage. Go ahead.
Absolute pleasure. So I don't know if you've discussed this in the past, or it's an idea that I honestly have incorrect, but I've heard about the idea of giving tzedakah as a way to obviously, help the world, but also in a potential selfish way, help yourself and your business, and especially around the high holiday times. And so personally, I kind of have questions, or maybe I just don't understand that concept of kind of, for me, it almost sounds like if you give tzedakah, it almost negates the value of the tzedakah in that there's a selfish kind of tinge behind it. I was just curious if you kind of talk about that kind of connection, and it's kind of, business related, kind of holidays related. And also, if I have the concept completely incorrect, I would love it if you could kind of clarify it for me, please.
You sure want me to do that? You're gonna answer that?
Go ahead. No, you can do it. Go for
first, I want to just clarify that the tzedakah that you're referring to is this full throughout Jewish thought, the concept of giving the tzedakah that you're referring to. One is not the other. There are different types of tzedakah, and each one has its value, meaning to say one is giving tzedakah without anybody knowing, and just for the sake of giving tzedakah. And Jewish thought is full of the beauty and how amazing that is, and how special it is, and the value of that, which is, no question about that, and you're 100% right about your feeling. However, there's another part of tzedakah, which is the tzedakah of motivating other people to do it, mitzvah, giving tzedakah in a way that other people are going to get motivated, other people are going to appreciate it, other people are going to follow suit. So that's a different form of tzedakah. And the third point that you made, and both of them have their own value, both of them are in a different space, both of them affect a different thing, and we should be giving both of those types of tzedakahs. Finally, the third type of tzedakah, it happens to be that the Talmud teaches us that there's one area where Hashem says, you can test me. This is the area where you allow it. Generally speaking, we work totally on emunah, belief, bitachon, and so on. When it comes to the tzedakah, there's a concept where Hashem says, you can test me. And when it comes to for example, giving tzedakah for benefit, giving tzedakah to have a good year, giving tzedakah, a tenth to be able to grow our businesses. So there are three different types of tzedakahs. I'm not a rabbi, but I can clearly tell you that your point is well taken, that the type of tzedakah that talks to you should talk to you. And it's very, very much a Jewish way of giving tzedakah. But there are other ways and other benefits and other ways that we give tzedakah throughout the Jewish year and in Jewish thought. Some of them are publicly, for one reason, and that's considered tzedakah. I believe that the Rambam has like 7 levels of tzedakah. So there is a form of tzedakah.
Eight levels of tzedakah, by the way.
So they're all correct.
And by the way, the interesting thing about tzedakah, right? There's a halacha that if someone loses money and a poor person finds the money and uses it to sustain themselves, even though the person who lost the money did not intend to give tzedakah, he still gets the zechus of tzedakah because they actually helped somebody. So even the highest tzedakah is selfless tzedakah, but you You can also do selfish tzedakah. That's the bottom line.
Right. And they both, and that's how it's by design. It's different ways to be able to do it. But what you're feeling is correct, and they all have value, and all those tzedakahs are accurate, and they're not the same thing, so to say. They're different buttons, different ways of serving Hashem, and each one has its own, experience that comes with it, and each one has its own benefits. So thanks for pointing that out.
Thank you for taking the time to explain all that. That really clarifies the concept. Thank you all. And thank you for a great presentation. It truly was insightful.
Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
We have time for one more question. Anyone else have a question?
Yeah, Rabbi Halpern.
Go ahead.
Just
Not a rabbi,
just
but
to touch. Why not? I'll give you an honorary rabbinate. Why not?
Okay.
If they can give an honorary doctorates, why not?
Okay.
First of all, thank you very much for this. I just want to touch on your example of the board.
Yes.
A board low down the ground, you can walk across it high up. It's your mind, it's your heart, it's your emotions, etc. There's also the concept of taking into account the consequences of your actions. When you're walking on a board, the potential consequences of falling are much less than the consequences of falling up from a high building. Doesn't that warrant at least consideration, and does that guide some decisions or some parts of the decision?
So it's if you focus on the consequence. So I'll give you the analogy where I took it from. There's a guy by the name of Nick Walenta. They're the Mishpocha Miyucheses of tightrope walker in the world. And I watched, he walked over the Grand Canyon for $1 million for Discovery Channel. And when he described how he did it, he says, I can walk on a tightrope in my backyard, no problem. The only reason why I can't walk over the Grand Canyon is because of fear. And what he said is I visualized myself getting across safely, thousands of times. And then I was able to do it because my focus was getting across safely and not falling down. People that are successful in business, they know consequences. But when they do it, their passion, their excitement for the deal, their excitement to move forward and follow through is a lot louder than the consequences. Because everything has consequences. When Chazal say, if you use your mind all the time and your heart doesn't override, people that think too much don't make money. There's a time that, not that you shouldn't think, but sometimes you need to not focus on the consequences. I mean, think about how it, theoretically, let's take marriage, a couple of meetings, a couple of dates, even for a longer time, you make a decision for life. At one point, you got to not focus on the consequences and get caught up in the passion and the love and make the move. It's the same thing that we do in relationships, the same thing we do in stepping over to the next step spiritually and stepping over to the next step in business. So of course there's consequences and of course it's part, but ultimately building a business sometimes is walking on a tightrope and not focusing on the consequences. Not that they don't exist somewhere in the background, but where our passion becomes louder, that drives us and we jump into the relationship. We get married, we buy the building, we invest in the business, we hire the person, we sign on the financing. So 100%, you're 100% right that that's always there. The trick is how to drum up the passion sometimes louder to be able to move forward and to be able to make it happen. But point well taken.
Yeah, Shkosh, thank you very much. There's actually a famous story of Mendel Futterfass when he was in the Gulag about that. And he asked the tightrope walker, how is it possible? They used to do performances. He used to be a tightrope walker. So he did, in the prison performance, he did a tightrope walk. And he asked him, how's it possible? So the guy said, if I look down, I would never get across it. I just look at where I'm going. So maybe that's a way to overcome fear, is to just focus on, like you're saying, focus on your destination, focus on what you want to accomplish and what
that we should know, but in illness, people that wind up focusing that they're going to get better and that thing do better. People, they have studies of people that are told they're going to die 30 days, they die 30 days later. 6 days, they die 6 days later. People that believe they can outlive it have better chances. So we have a certain amount of control, not 100%, or else life wouldn't have an assign, but definitely.
Yeah, there are actually oncologists that will not treat somebody. Some top oncologists will not treat somebody if they don't feel that the person has a positive attitude.
Wow. Thanks for sharing. So
thank you
let's all have a positive and be convinced that we're going to have a happy, healthy, and wealthy year. And let's celebrate it at the end of the year. Next year, same time. New level, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Shkach. Gracias.
You're well. See you soon. Have a good event, Share.
Thank you.